It looks so much better. Yeah, is it crazy how much? So that was my mom's north and south of the back. So she wanted DJ and I to take those off.
Bless you.
Hey. Yeah, so that was the one that she wanted DJ and I to sand and paint. That was going this way. And then that was the neighbors. That's where the new fence and the rock is and everything. Doesn't look as bad there, but that's.
I'd like to call the order of the Pleasant Grove City Council this evening, October the 5th, 2021, and welcome everyone who has come here. And we have 4 council members present. We have 1 absent due to family event this evening, and also our city administrator is at his annual conference. And then we're missing a few of our directors this evening. But we welcome you all here, and also the general public that has joined us, and all those who have joined us electronically or virtually here this evening. We welcome you. We'd like to start our evening out with a Pledge of Allegiance by Assistant Chief Brett Smith, and then we will have opening remarks by Diana Anderson. Brett?
Our dear Father in heaven, we're very grateful for all of our blessings. We're thankful for this beautiful city that we live in, for our neighbors and our friends, and especially for the employees that work hard to make sure that our needs are cared for. We pray for each of us that we will have an open mind, and that we'll be able to concentrate on those things that we need to tonight, that we'll make those decisions that would be best for Pleasant Grove. And we're grateful for our opportunity to serve. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brett. Diana. Now, I ask for a motion of approval of tonight's meeting agenda, but our acting city manager, our general counsel, we have one thing we're eliminating now. Is that correct?
Correct. We're continuing the public hearing on the general plan, the proposed general plan amendment. We'll just have to renotice it when it's ready to go.
Okay, so with that, there we have one change on that, so I ask for a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Our moving agenda is approved. Thank you. We'll now move on to our open session this evening and invite anybody of the public who would like to come forward and address the council at this time. I see no one coming forward, so we'll now close our open session and bring back up here, and we'll move on to item number 6, our consent items this evening, and are to consider for approval change order number 3 and pay request number 6 to C&L Water Solutions Incorporated for the fiscal year 2018-19 sewer rehabilitation project, and then C, consider for approval payment approval reports for September the 23rd, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the consent items.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We do not have any board commissioner committee appointments this evening or presentations. We had that in our work session, and our one public hearing this evening has been continued. So we'll move right on to our action items ready for vote this evening. And we'll start out with 10A, to consider for adoption Resolution 2021-054 of the City Council of Pleasant Grove City, Utah, authorizing the issuance and sale of not more than 5 million aggregate principal amount of water revenue bonds, Series 2021, related matters, and providing for an effective date. And our presenter is Jonathan Ward from Zions Bank.
Yes, Mayor and City Council, nice to see you again. Nice to be here on a fall evening. This is the process that we usually follow to finance projects. The projects contemplated this go-around include backup generators for our water system, as well as Boulevard well. I told Marty that I'd share with you the exact number of screws and bolts and everything and pipe that we need if you wanted to ask those questions, but I'm not going to tell you that right now unless you ask. The resolution starts off our process, starts and triggers the legal steps required to issue the bonds. The parameters are set to try to cover a lot of possibilities. It's envisioned that we would sell the bonds currently to the Division of Drinking Water at a very low interest rate of 1.6%, to be repaid over about 20 years. So that's extremely low financing for these projects. If for some reason that isn't the optimal solution or financing path, or we get similar type interest rates from other buyers and don't have the same terms or conditions or better terms or conditions, we have made the resolution broad enough to capture all those possibilities. The resolution calls for a hearing on November 16th, so the public can come in and voice their opinions about the project, about the bonds, about the interest rates, about the financing mechanism, about anything they really feel obligated to share. And following that hearing, we would be, based on authorization granted in this resolution, free to close the bonds and obtain the funding from the State of Utah Division of Drinking Water or other sources, or following that public comment period, redirect the course. You know, the council has prerogative to do that. So this is sort of that step. This resolution and the hearing are two critical pieces in that step. In the interim, between now and an estimated closing sometime in December, we'd be coordinating with the finance team here at the city, at the Division of Drinking Water, to work through the requirements that they've given us in their authorization letter, and go from there. Yes, Denise.
I was just going to share one thing that we do have the public hearing on November 16th, but the drinking board likes us to send out a formal invitation, and we did that in this last utility bill. So a page went out talking about what we're doing and when the hearing is, and then they can actually vote for or against, and they can either send that back to us or the drinking water board. But just there's that extra little step that they like us to do. So that went out with the utility bill last Friday. So
How many are on those boards? Out of curiosity.
the drinking water board.
Yeah,
How many people?
yeah, I was just
I think there's about 7 or 8
7 or 8,
that
okay.
are on that board.
Okay.
Most recently, the mayor of South Jordan was appointed as one of the members, but there's city representatives, there's technical representatives, there's state representatives, all sorts sitting on the boards.
Any other questions for Jonathan? Marty wants to add something there.
Just to clarify, and you'll notice that in the documentation that's in the packet, but so the project estimate cost came in at $4.1 million. The bond that was approved by the Division of Drinking Water Board was for $3.725 million, I believe, and we're responsible for about $400,000 of that. And what, Jonathan, as we discussed, what's happening in the market right now with the costs of equipment, boring, being able to drill the well, those types of things, we needed that budget amount to be so that we have the ability to potentially, if we get bids back and they're way high, we might need to go back to the Division of Drinking Water Board and ask for some additional funding to make sure we cover that gap or come up with additional funding ourselves. So just, I wanted the council to know that the amount of the 5 million was set as it's up to that amount. We anticipate that when we get the bonds back, or the bids back, that we would hope to be in that 4.2 million and would be issuing the bonds based on what the original approval from the Division of Drinking Water was. So I thought that would be a good clarification to make with this.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Jonathan. We appreciate you coming down tonight. So with that, I'd ask for a motion for Resolution 2021-054.
Mayor, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I'll make a motion for adoption of Resolution 2021-54 of the City Council of Pleasant Grove, Utah, authorizing the issuance and sale of not more than $5 million aggregate principal amount of water revenue bonds, Series 2021, and related matters, and providing for an effective date.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilmember Williams. And this will be a roll call vote, and we'll start out with Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. We'll now move on to 10B, to consider for adoption Resolution 2021-055, authorizing the mayor to sign a purchase agreement with Chad C. Carr and Allison M. Carr for a parcel of property approximately 78 square feet located at 1778 North, 100 East for the installation of traffic signal at 1800 North, 100 East, and providing for an effective date. Director. That's a big piece of property.
Yeah, 0.002 acres of property is what we're acquiring here. Let me just show you a quick picture of what we're doing.
Could you get some fall colors on the next picture?
Well, I would have to try to find, I don't know where any fall colors are. So we have the Chad Carr property. This is the intersection of 1800 North and 100 East. We have a signal we submitted an application to MAG a couple of years ago and it got approved for funding. It's in this funding year. And so we're getting this project out to bid. It's currently out for contractors to give us a bid on this, and hope to have that before you, I believe on the 19th, our next council meeting. The signal poles, we have two corners. You can see here on this corner, you kind of have a diagonal piece here. When this property developed, we were able to acquire the corner, so we didn't need additional property there. When the county did First East, they acquired enough room here for the signal pole on that corner. But you can see these two corners here are kind of rounded off, and so we're needing to acquire a small sliver so that we can put the signal pole in the right-of-way and it's not on private property. So this item and the next item, the Carrs and the Youngs. The Carrs we needed to purchase just 78 square feet. The Youngs was slightly higher. Can't remember the exact amount, but you'll get to that item. But we needed to negotiate with them. We have to relocate a fence. We have to deal with some of the landscaping that's right there with the project, and we're planning to do that as well. So that's what the agreement is with the Carrs, is the purchase of that 78 square feet and redoing a little bit of the landscaping and the fencing along that as part of the project.
Any other questions for Marty? Thank you. So.
Yeah.
So with that, I ask now, if there's no other questions, ask for a motion on Resolution 2021-055.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2021-055, authorizing you to sign a purchase agreement with Chad C. Carr and Allison M. Carr for parcel of property approximately 75 square feet in size located at 1778 North, 100 East for the installation of a traffic signal at 1800 North and 100 East, and providing for an effective date.
We have a motion by Councilmember Anderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Lamone. And this will be a roll call vote again, and we'll start off with Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Now move on to item 10C, to provide for adoption for Resolution 2021-056, authorizing the mayor to sign a purchase agreement with Joseph Richard Young, trustee for the Young Family Trust, for a parcel of property approximately 142.17 square feet in size, located at 1820 North, 100 East, for installation of a traffic signal on 1800 North and 100 East, providing for effective date. Director.
Again, the same thing. This is on the northeast corner rather than on the southwest corner, as was on the Cars property. You can see just a little piece we needed for that. And here's on the northeast corner with the Youngs. Again, just property acquisition needed for that signal.
Any questions? Thank you. Not ask for a motion on Resolution 2021-056.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2021-056, authorizing the mayor to sign a purchase agreement with Joseph Richard Young, trustee for the Young Family Trust, for a parcel of property approximately 142.17 square feet in size, located at 1820 North, 100 East, for the installation of a traffic signal at 1800 North and 100 East, and providing for an effective date.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Jensen. And this will be a roll call vote again, and we'll start with Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone,
Yes.
and Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Now move on to our next item, 10D, to consider for adoption Resolution 2021-057, authorizing the mayor to execute a reimbursement agreement with Clay Liston for stormwater infrastructure improvements in the general area of 900 West and 1100 North, Pleasant Grove, Utah, and providing for an effective date. Director.
We've been working with Clay Liston now for a couple years, it seems, in a development concept of this property here on 1100 North at about 900 West. The road here on 1000 North would extend through in that concept. As you can see in this map, this is our storm drain utility map, and the water from this site would flow across here and flow down 1010 West to 800 North, flow across to get into the basins here, and then go into the Mahogany Park behind Mahogany Elementary. Well, we've already got you can see that there's a kind of a lack of stormwater facilities in this area, and as Mr. Liston came in and asked for development of this area, we indicated that we needed to make sure the stormwater wasn't contributing to more of a flooding issue by putting the water that would be coming. He's proposing a street that would come down the middle of the property and the extension of that road there. So we'd be adding additional water flows to something that's already fairly got a lot of water that flows in these streets. And so we indicated this storm water from this area, this new development area, needed to be taken here and tied into our existing system here below the church. We have a benefit for the city in this project in that we can, when we do that, we can collect some water here as we cross 1010 West, which will help diminish a little bit of the storm water that goes into that area as well, and felt like that we should participate in some amount to getting that pipe. It's about 850 feet of pipe off-site that he needs to do. And so we worked with Clay, and this is the agreement that's before you that we've come up with, that's in your packet, essentially agreeing that we would pay $85,000 towards the cost of extending that 850 feet of storm drain pipe across here, and then we would also be getting our improvements to collect water in the facility here at 1010 West and be able to take that over there. So that's the essence of the agreement and why it's before you tonight.
Any questions for the director?
No.
Thank you, Marty. Not, I would ask, no other questions, to ask a motion on Resolution 2021-057.
Mayor, I'll make a motion for adoption of Resolution 2021-57, authorizing the mayor to execute a reimbursement agreement with Clay Liston for stormwater infrastructure improvements in the general area of 900 West, 1100 North, Pleasant Grove, Utah, and providing for an effective date.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilmember Williams. And we'll start the other direction this time with starting out with roll call vote with Todd Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone,
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. We'll now move on to our last action item for this evening. Consider for adoption Resolution 2021-058, authorizing the city engineer to apply for a grant funding from Utah Department of Transportation, UDOT, for the Safe Routes to School program for 3 projects located at the Grove Crest Elementary School, 100 South, Pleasant Grove High School, 200 South, and Valley View Elementary, Orchard Drive, and Locust Avenue for sidewalk improvements totaling 833 feet, and authorizing the mayor to sign a letter of support for the grant application and providing for effective date. Director.
Mayor and council, we have another opportunity to submit for funding for Safe Routes to School. We've been fairly successful in the last few years and received 2 of those funding grants. We are now looking at 2 or 3 other locations that could use some sidewalk adjacent or in the vicinity, the proximity of some schools. So Grove Crest Elementary is one of those. This is right at 1100 North and just to the east of First East. Coming up, this is, you can see Grove Crest Elementary's parking lot here. Across these 4 homes here, there are currently no improvements, and so the children need to walk kind of on a gravel area here. It is out of the travel way, but it's still a little bit safety issue, and we want to get them onto a sidewalk. So this is one of the areas that we're proposing to submit an application on. The second area would be on 2nd South. We currently have a development called Adams Acres A and Adams Acres B. A is completing curb, gutter, and sidewalk here, and curb, gutter, and sidewalk is in B up through this area all the way up to 950 East. And so the idea would be to come in and fill in those 2 missing sections that already have developed homes on them, and requesting for funding for that area, so we'll get a connected sidewalk down to the high school. And then the third area, we had Lon Lewis called me a couple months ago, a month and a half ago, and said, hey, we've had some people asking whether or not there could be some improvements installed with the Safe Routes to School program on, this is Orchard Drive and Locust Avenue. As you're coming up there, it gets really narrow here if you've ever come down that road. I'm sure Sid has a few times. And one of the approaches would be to get sidewalk either on the south or on the north side, depending on how we can work with these property owners. Both of them will probably have some significant impacts with their yard landscaping, blocking, and a few other things of that nature. But nonetheless, it's very narrow there and a little bit unsafe. We do have a crossing that's just barely up the road from here, from Apple Grove children that are walking up to Valley View Elementary. So this is another one that we would like to apply for as well. So we've prepared the applications for all 3. I'm looking for a support from mayor and council so we can include that in our application. If you don't want to, that's okay, but I don't know why you wouldn't. So we needed to bring it before you for your approval.
Just a question, Mayor. Can I ask a question? So, Marty, it's interesting that you bring these up. There's 2 of these projects were brought up to me within the last 2 weeks as a safety hazard. So, if we apply for funding, can you tell us apply for a grant. Let me use the right terminology. Apply for a grant. What is the timing of that? When could we look at receiving those funds? And then ultimately, when could we look at finalizing those projects for the safety of the kids?
Yeah. So it does, the funding windows generally, I believe, are 2 years. So we wouldn't be able to construct it this next year. I think it's the following year that it becomes available, July 1. Okay. So I don't believe it's this coming July that they're available. I'm trying to remember if I think we received notification by the end of the year of whether or not we were even successful with our application. And then I think it becomes in the next funding cycle, which is It's going to be July of 2023, I believe, is when the funding becomes available. For
So,
this.
and of all of these projects, which ones would you say are the most urgent?
They're all fairly equivalent in need, especially now that we have, the Second South stuff, for example. Now that we have most of it connecting there, it makes a lot of sense to try to get those last little pieces in. We've had 1100 North like this for years and years, and so it's not something new. It's been there forever.
But it changed with the rebuilding of Grove Crest, didn't it?
Not really.
Didn't it? Kind of the same issue.
It was already to that extent, and we've just missed it for those 4 homes for for the last 20 years. I'm sure it's been like that. So.
And what is the full amount of the grant
that we're requesting?
that we're requesting?
Sorry, I'd have to pull that up in your packet. I'm trying to remember. Each one of them are probably, one was 70, one like 120. The other one was like 110.
Okay,
So,
I can pull it from that.
Yeah,
That's
you're probably in the 300,000 total dollars.
okay. All right. And what is the likelihood? I mean, I guess the question is, if we wait until July and we're not approved, right? What is our stopgap there to get those sidewalks completed? And what is our chances of getting the full funding, right?
So this is the only program that I'm aware of that we can apply for and not just do it ourselves, right? We could fund this, through capital monies and do that. So,
And ultimately, that's why I'm asking all these
we
questions.
should know, Todd, in the next, like I said, I think it's in the next 2 or 3 months of whether or not we were successful for this. And then we can talk further about it if we're not. I mean, we will very unlikely get all 3, right?
Okay.
We hope to get another one, possibly 2. It kind of depends on the amount of funding they have available and how many applicants they have, because they do it through a process of kind of priorities and what is the top choice type of thing.
So Marty, right now, the grant that we have that got approved is the one on Loader, just east of Valley View, correct? To finish, it was gonna be that section on the corner house and then also in front of Leo's alt, right?
Yep.
So that's the only safe grant that we have approved at this time.
We have 2.
What's the
Another
other
one
one?
that we're doing is on 4th East between 2nd South and 3rd South.
Okay.
So it's for Central Elementary. It's that crosswalk that you have there on 4th East, south of there to 3rd South.
Okay. And so those 2 have been approved, and when will those 2
Those will
projects
start
happen?
construction in the spring. The designs have been done, and now we're ready to go out to bid. We'll probably put out to bid in January.
Okay, and then this is due, you said July of 2022?
So we would probably start design about a year and a half from now, and then start construction. Funding can be available, and that's the one thing that I think we can do, is if we do get approved for funding, we could approve to move forward and get reimbursed when the funding becomes available through UDOT. So there are opportunities, I believe they allow for reimbursement once you have an approved project, so.
Cool.
But-
So we
but
could get
when-
that done probably in spring even.
Yeah, there's a possibility that we could run the projects and get it done this year.
But when will we know
during
about this?
off-season. Again, I think it's in December is
Oh,
when they make.
we'll know this December, but construction wouldn't start until July 2022.
So we have a choice. If we want to wait till funding's available to start the design, it probably would be 2 years from the spring, so 2.5 years out. If we choose to move forward and do the projects once we know the funding is secured, we could choose to move forward and do them sooner than when the funding's available and finance it ourselves and look for reimbursement in, I believe it's July 1st of 2023.
And that's a possibility with the grant application?
Generally is. I believe they allow you to move forward once you've been approved, as long as you do it per their terms, and then you ask for reimbursement at the end.
And like Todd said, is it unusual or common that they would approve multiple projects? Or is this like you apply for as many as you can, they approve one? What do you think the likelihood is that we could get approved for all 3?
They look at a number of things based on, again, the number of applicants and the amount of funding they have available. If they, were needing projects, this is a perfectly viable project and a need. So it just depends on how many they get, and we don't really know that until they go through the process. And so I think all 3 of them, we definitely didn't want to just exclude one. It was a push for us to put this all together. Britton did a great job in kind of working through all of this with all the schools. We had to get letters of support from each one of the schools. those types of things. And so it was a big push for us, but we felt like it was worth putting it all together and getting it in. So we don't know how successful we'll be. I think they're great projects, but it's really, it's up to the committee that actually makes that decision and based on the funding and the number of applications they receive, so.
Okay.
So on this one you've got up here, Marty, on Orchard, would that include curb and gutter also on that?
So yes, so the application is curb gutter sidewalk on either the north or the south, because we have curb gutter and sidewalk to the east of these properties, and then also completing the sidewalk, curb and gutter on Locust. It stops here at this property, and it would be all the way across the frontage of Locust. So
I mean,
that's the application.
I will say on this one, because I do come down this road a lot, right here, let's see. There's a bus stop and there's no sidewalk. The kids are literally standing in the road waiting for the bus. So all of these are very valid projects. This is just one that I noticed because I live over in that area, but there is nothing. And I'm glad it's being brought forward. It's very important, so.
Yeah.
So do we have the right of way to finish that road completely then?
No, the right of way, we would have to work and negotiate with the property owners, and that's the one thing that is a little bit tricky on these, is that the funding cannot be used for acquisition of right of way or procuring right of way. And so we'll be contacting, if we're successful, we'll be contacting these property owners and negotiating that with them.
So if another mechanism we have without a grant is to, if they want to put that in, then we do a special assessment district, is that correct? Or how does, Would that work on
typically,
this
so a special assessment area, SAAs, are things you can do to put curb gutter and sidewalk in for, but it's not typically on a one house. I mean, typically you're looking at a neighborhood and they want to put in a curb and gutter and sidewalk down a street for a block or two. This is where it's impacting one or two homes. I've never, I guess, considered it in that fashion.
Yeah, we've never done an SAA for that small of an area.
okay. That's what I
And
was
just
wondering.
some of the history, years ago, when my kids were in elementary school, the city partnered with the PTA at the school and constructed as much sidewalk as possible on that side. And we just got down to the end, and the property owners weren't willing to cooperate because we did need some additional right-of-way, and they weren't willing to just deed it to us. That's part of the reason why there's some sidewalk, and it's not all the way down to Locust. And then there was, those other two homes went in newer, and they finished their curb gutter and sidewalk in front of their property, and so it extended down a little bit more. But I think there's a new property owner on the corner there that might be a little more amenable to talking about it than the one that was there before.
If they could get that road improved,
Right.
maybe deed that to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times when they understand, I mean, there is a good for what they're doing, but also they're getting their frontage improved, usually at no cost to them, right? There is generally a sense of, hey, we're willing to dedicate, you guys construct and finish those improvements. And so, yes, we haven't reached out to either one of these property owners. We want to make sure the funding's good, and then we'll have time to work with them to procure that, but we can't use that funding to procure right-of-way.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. With that, then I ask for a motion on resolution number 2021-058.
I'll make the motion that we adopt resolution 2021-058, authorizing the city engineer to apply for grant funding from the Utah Department of Transportation for the Safe Routes to School program for 3 projects located at Grove Crest Elementary, Pleasant Grove High School, and Valley View for sidewalk improvements totaling approximately 833 feet. Authorizing the mayor to sign a letter of support for the grant application, providing for an effective date.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lamone. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilmember Williams. And this will be a roll call vote. We'll start out with Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. That concludes all of our action items this evening. And so we will now go back and ask any of the other directors who would like to come forward and with anything that they'd like to address the council on to do so at this time. Directors? Sherry?
So first, I love that the mayor thinks that I sit and read in the office. He said it's still a reading room. I hate to tell you, but librarians don't actually read on the job.
You were surrounded by heaven. You
I
could
know,
choose.
everybody thinks that's what we
It's
do.
quiet and peaceful.
Yeah, anyway. But I do enjoy that office. So, couple other things. We got a tiny grant. When I think of Marty's grants, ours are so minuscule. $2,000.
That's something, yay.
$2,000 is $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is a diverse adult books grant. So,
Yikers. What does that mean?
okay, grown-up books grant, is that better, Sid?
Say it again.
Grown-up books?
Okay.
So it's,
better.
Maybe.
well,
Not convinced yet.
It's so that we have more books that represent diverse cultures, that type of thing. Yeah, and languages. So we're spending most of it probably on improving our Spanish language collection, because they'll count that also as diverse.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so, and our collection's kind of weak right now, especially the adult part of it. So we're excited about that, about making that better. Also, PG Players is doing their play, and then there were none, October 8th through 25th. I imagine they sent
Have
you.
my tickets.
I was going to say,
Who
I'll-
has their tickets?
Well, I'm going.
Okay,
I'm going,
council, get your tickets. I'm going the 8th.
so you're not going on, no, just kidding.
And I've also got my tickets to
Stonegate?
Stonegate as well.
Okay.
So
15th?
And a
invite everybody
little
to support those two.
FYI, American Fork Library has gone fine-free, and they have told us, the director has told us that they actually have Pleasant Grove people switching libraries because they like that so much. Anecdotal, but
Well, but that they're gonna take advantage of and not bringing books back. I don't know if I like that.
So let me tell you how I feel about this. Can I do that, Mayor? Is that all right? So was on the library committee, not the library committee. I was on
Board?
the, what was I? Advisor,
board?
the board, whatever I was. Really dug in, as those that can remember, maybe 3 years ago, I was kind of against the library removal of the library fines. It just didn't, from a business standpoint, it didn't make sense to me. I got on the board, started seeing the type of fines that we were having, and the detrimental effect it was having on the lives of some of our residents. Underserved is a good word. And I would be in full favor of eliminating the fines from the library.
New York Public Library just announced that they have also done that with their whole system.
It's a little too punitive.
Well, and it's usually punitive of underserved
Correct.
people.
Correct.
So,
So that they don't go back.
right.
So anyway,
Okay. It's definitely something to discuss.
if you want to, yeah, I'd bring that up with, let's talk about that again, revisit
Let's
it.
get it on the agenda and have a discussion.
Okay, great. And then I just wanted to tell you some of our programs. We've got our online Halloween stories program going right now, stories that go bump in the night. So we've got it going all the way through October. So you can get on and watch Rachel Bringhurst. She's today's, but there are some every day. And then also we have our Classic Cinema Club doing the House on Haunted Hill this month. And you probably don't know, but Kelly actually has a master's in film. And so she does a little informative thing beforehand, talking about the film, which is cool. And then we have Haley Howe, Miss Pleasant Grove, is doing a program with the library where she's doing an author every month. And she's arranging it, and so we've got Charlie Glenn doing it this month. She does children's books. Then we also have started Saturday morning screenings. So a movie every Saturday morning. I used to walk over to the Sierra and watch Saturday morning movies when I was a kid. That tells you approximately where I lived, that I could walk. And then we also have after-school adventures. This is a once a month program for kids, grades 1 to 6. And this one is the science of fire and fire investigation with a member of the PG Fire Department. Yeah. So we're back to being busy as ever. So there you go.
Sherry, any like Halloween activities besides the bump in the night that we need to be aware of?
The movie, I'm not,
The House on Haunted Hill, that's like an old one, right?
yeah,
Because there is like a new version too.
I'm guessing it's the old one.
Okay.
I will send you an email if
Okay,
there's
this
more
is
than
awesome.
that.
Thank you
There
so much.
probably is a teen night that I'm missing.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
so awesome though. Thank you.
Sherry, is there anything I mean, I've been in communication with Haley Howe as well on the today a reader, tomorrow a leader as well. Is there anything the city can do to help her initiate that from a library perspective or from a city council perspective that we're not doing or that we should be doing or that you would recommend we do?
I need to talk to her some more
Okay.
about what she's doing
Okay.
before
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Yeah, it's today a reader, tomorrow a leader. Love what she's doing.
I
Come
love
in
it
and
too.
done- She's already come in.
Yeah,
so,
she's actively engaged. I just want to make sure that she feels the support from the
And when she
city.
gets up and introduces, she's so, it's
Yeah.
like she's much older than her years. Like she's
Yeah.
very poised and
Very good. Well, thanks for
professional
all you're
about
doing.
it. I've been impressed with her.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Sherry. Any other directors? Director Giles.
So, Pleasant Grove Boulevard medians was completed last week, just in time for Marty to come put more cones out. So, and then they removed the one island on the south end, working on that project by Holiday Oil. Kept Bill busy this last week and continuing this week. We've had a plugged drain at the senior center. And we are now in the process of digging up the basement floor, about a 3 foot by 6 foot hole to try to get the pipe out that the plug's in. So we've tried everything there has been to try to get it, but anyway. So the sinks, we've been doing box lunches at the seniors this week, and we'll continue on until we can get that taken care of. We're also in the process of shutting down our irrigation. And within the next 2 weeks, we'll be shutting down our outdoor restrooms, with the exception of Discovery Park, playground restroom, 1100 North restroom, and downtown park restroom. So, any
Okay.
questions?
The tile at the rec, have you guys seen this? Around the
good.
fountains in the new bathroom? It looks so good.
We've had a few remarks from like 3 people, like it's too busy. I think it looks really good, though.
I think it looks awesome. It
Looks
just
good.
brings some color and it's black, blue, and white. It looks so good.
They did a good job with it, definitely.
I think it looks really good.
Yep.
Good job.
Dion, you kind of put the foundation for the library signage up, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well,
When is that happening?
I tried it, then Marty really did it. Marty's guys did it the
Okay.
best way, so.
Okay.
But yeah, so they've been emailed, contacted. I thought they would be in here last week. They were a pretty big hurry to get it going, so I'll contact them again and see when they're gonna come put the footings in for the sign.
And it looks like you found the solution to the flooding at the library. Am I
think
right?
We did, yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yep, they'd poured a sprinkler pipe,
Yeah.
a funny pipe underneath the concrete shooting right into the wall. So, yeah. We got that one taken care of.
Thanks, Dion. Marty.
So Robbie Clayton did the pad for the for the footings, so it wasn't me. I just helped direct. Also, I'm very much in support of getting rid of the fines for the library, as I support that program a lot. We always get the books back. It's just usually not on time. So, yeah, that's not one of my responsibilities.
Today a reader,
in the
tomorrow a
household,
leader.
but nonetheless.
His kids are reading.
As you know, the secondary water system's turned down. Grateful for the forecast of rain for the next couple of weeks. So that'll be great and a great help for that. But yeah, the system started shutting down on Monday, so most of you have probably noticed that. I think we turned out we made it through the year okay, and we have a little bit of storage water that we'll be able to carry over, hold over water due to the shutting down a little bit early, as well as just we were able to manage it fairly well through the year. Everybody cut back. I think in the newsletter I put some information in there about what the results were of what we saw. So we appreciate everybody's support in doing that, and hopefully it'll work out for next year. It all depends on the winter and whether or not we can get Deer Creek filled back up and some snow up on the mountains so we can benefit from that. We also have a number of road projects just here at the end of the year. You probably noticed some cones up on Center Street, PG Boulevard. We're milling from essentially the Friends gas station all the way down. We're milling all the way down to 550 South. With the forecast, they were planning to start that tomorrow, but the forecast, we've asked them to delay that until we can guarantee that we can get that overlay put back in if we mill it out. So they'll be moving the traffic control off to the side until we can get that, until weather improves. And it looks like this week and next week are pretty bad, but then who knows what's going to happen, but it usually warms up enough that we can get that project done. So but that is one of the projects that's moving forward, and then there's a number of microsurfacing projects that we've been doing, and that will continue as soon as weather permits, but hopefully will be this fall as well. So, and then we are with this well project and this bond, we are looking at trying to get that well starting to be drilled in December. We actually have to have the bid back before we can close the bond. They require the bids to be back in. So we'll be moving forward on trying to get that well ready to drill. And getting those through the Division of Drinking Water for approval right now, and then we'll be putting it out to bid and probably have it before you on the November 16th agenda for approval. So that's lots of stuff moving forward, and it's going to be a crazy year next year. Everything's going to be torn up, so get ready. Any questions for me?
Up means progress.
Yes, definitely.
We may have to have a whole
It'll be
campaign.
a little painful, but
Torn
it'll
up
be good.
equals progress.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
Marty.
Well, that just leaves you, Daniel.
Save the dessert for the end. You know how long it took me since I came to the United States to learn the difference between dessert and desert? Like 4 years. We just barely had at the end of last week, I met with the new commissioner, Commissioner Hargett. We had a 2-hour meeting, more like training. We watched some videos from the league, and she's ready. She just forgot that she needs to come on Thursdays, but she's working her schedule. She teaches a cooking class, right? We were exchanging recipes, and she will do fantastic. We put an RFP, request for proposal, for the firm that's going to help us with our general plan. It closes on Friday. I met with 4 firms so far. They have questions and they want to know what we're looking for. What I'm very interested in is that everybody can produce a document, but I as the director of this department, I want a document that is very that includes everybody, that I get the most public participation. We were focusing on not only getting the same 20 people that always complain or send their responses on a questionnaire, but we want to make sure that every strata of the population gets a chance to tell us what their vision of the city is. So we're gonna close it on Friday, and then we're we'll pick the company that's going to help us out through this process. It's going to be a very interesting, and I'm really excited about the final product that we're going to get for this. That's what I have, Mayor and Council.
Okay, thank you, Daniel.
My pleasure.
Any questions from the council?
Have we gotten anywhere on the Beekeeping Association?
I'm working on it. So what happens is that I met with Scott and Tina, and then they assigned me to work on this ordinance. So the process is first you start checking other people's ordinances, like from different ones, and I'm at the drafting process. Like I'm start putting something together, and once I have something solid, I'll send it to them. But what they gave us is pretty good.
It's was really crafted
It's
from
really
other
correct.
cities.
It's
right?
it's
So
really
this
good.
This is the president of the Beekeepers Association of Utah County. So he's actually, it's fairly similar. So trust your judgment, whatever you need to do. but-
It's really good. I always like to do my homework, so I don't
Sure.
just let something go like that. So I have like 7 different ordinances from different cities, and I'm just trying to, so when you put them together and see how much they're different they are. But we're really close to get something solid.
Thanks,
Okay.
Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
My pleasure.
Denise, do you have anything?
Yeah, a couple of things. Auditors.
Oh, we
I
love the
love it.
auditors.
Yeah, they're gonna be here in a week. Yeah, they'll be here, last 2 weeks in October. Usually takes us a couple weeks to do field work, and then takes us about a month to get the report done. So they'll be on site, our same auditors, Hanson, Bradshaw, Malmrose, and Erickson. And so they'll be here. The other thing is the comprehensive budget that we submit to the GFOA is out on the website, and that has been submitted to the GFOA. But our original budget's like 50 pages. This one's over 100. Has just a lot more information if you want to look, but it's been out there for a week or so. Then a couple of other things. The city treasurer, Mike Gorley, and myself, we are working on an RFP for banking services and merchant services. So that's going to take us a little bit. We have went and got some RFPs from other cities, and so we're working on that. And I think that's it.
Oh,
So,
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Kathy, other than we're celebrating not having a election this year. That's- Okay.
Actually, the 3 of us would like a party.
Oh, we can do that.
November, the first Tuesday in November, I feel a party.
I wasn't part of the party last time. I was in Israel.
Oh,
So I
we
was.
need to get together.
We may.
We'll have an election night party.
We could have ice cream.
We could. We'll do that.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, Kyler, AKK Kara Kresser, do you have anything for us tonight? Okay. Then I will turn the time over to our general counsel and our acting city administrator for anything you have, plus what we're going to have at our next council meeting.
Mayor and council, I just have 3 things from the legal department. The first one is we've started a digitization of all of our old criminal case records, which is a huge project. It's literally more than 20 years worth of criminal files, and so it's going to take a while, but we've
Who's doing that,
started on
Tina?
it. Carla Alvarez, my legal assistant. She's doing it in her spare moments, and she's actually making really good progress. She's
Oh my
probably
gosh,
gone
that's
through a couple of
awesome.
years already,
Wow.
and she's only been doing it for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, so
Wow.
she's doing really well. The second thing is I usually send the mayor and council notice when we grant an exception to the noise permit, and I didn't do that yesterday. We had an emergency request from the contractor who took the median out on the boulevard, and they were unaware that they needed to work at night, and UDOT told them made that condition yesterday, and they were starting last night. So the mayor signed a noise permit exception yesterday, and in case you get phone calls, I don't think you will because there's not any residential properties in that immediate area, so I don't think there will be. Yeah. So I think it'll be fine, but just so you know. And then the third thing, the third thing is the appeal time has run on the Trent Thane case. And so he did not file an appeal. So that case is officially done and over with. And we have filed an affidavit of costs. It's not a lot of money compared to what the insurance company spent to litigate the case, but it's about $5,000 of hard costs that the defense counsel for us incurred. Filing fees, copying, witness fees, whatever. So we'll be seeking a return of at least that amount of money. And then as far as October 19th goes, Kathy has a list, and I think there's just about 3 things on it, Kathy.
Oh, sorry. We have the vision and mission statement that we've been working on. The public hearing for the general plan amendment, and then grant for the bathrooms, if that is ready. Those are the only 3 things I have so far. I'm sure there'll be more.
Okay. Thank you. With that, I'll turn to the council and start down here with Sid. Do you have anything else you'd like to raise this evening?
Maybe you ought to end with Sid.
I really don't have a lot.
We're
Okay,
waiting for
I
someone
can
to
do
walk.
that, Sid. That's a good request.
I don't know, unless you want to do it just afterwards. Is that? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to do after. Then it doesn't matter. Sorry.
Just next council meeting, you're all invited to my house after for just a quick Halloween tour, and some hot apple cider and donuts after. So that's after next meeting, if you'd like to come. So happy Halloween, the best month ever. Also, Viking Day is this Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m. in the downtown park. It's supposed to be kind of cold and rainy, but the Vikings weren't wusses, and so this is going to happen rain or shine.
That's Viking
So the
weather,
Strongman Competition will be happening regardless of the weather. And we have 25 people signed up to participate, which is awesome for the first year. So we're scheduled to have a lot of booths from the high school, pictures, Strongman, pictures of the Vikings, a beard competition. It's going to be really fun. But we don't know what's going to happen with the weather, but still come out and just have fun. It'll be rain or shine, so.
Diana?
Todd brought up ribbon cutting this Friday, fresh fade at 6 p.m.
Yep.
Choose Kindness is having.
And then go right into the PG players.
Correct, yep. Well, you could get something to eat just before at Jurassic Park, Tacos, and then head over. Choose Kindness is having their retreat at doTERRA that same day at 10 o'clock, so if you want to stop by, feel free. And then and maybe all of you got this email from Becky Edwards. It's running. She's going to be here Friday at 1 o'clock if you want to meet her. I told her just to come to the city, and I told her we can either be out here in the lobby or she can come over to the chamber, whatever works. She just wants to say hi and meet the elected officials. So, and then October 15th is Big O Tires grand opening and ribbon cutting at 1:30. They're the ones that bought out the Larkin
West
Tires.
Point.
Yep. So they're excited. This is their second location. Another one's in Springville, I
Provo.
think. She was telling me Springville.
I think
That's
it's Provo.
Provo?
Yeah, I've actually gone in twice the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Great interaction
Yeah.
with them. Yeah, the guy that was helping me said Provo, and then this is their second.
Okay, perfect. So they're excited. That's it.
Okay. Todd?
No, nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Nothing. So you don't want to add anything about your surgery?
For my birthday, we went out to eat, and then 3 hours later, I was in maybe 4 hours later, in the ER, telling me that my gallbladder was not in good shape and that I was going to get it taken out at 1:30, and that happened. So
So what restaurant were you eating at? I'll make sure.
That's some bad Mexican.
So I was talking to my doctor today, and he said you can blame it on genetics and your family. You didn't eat anything wrong at Timpanogos Steakhouse. So I asked him that. I said, because I really like that place, and I haven't been there for a while. So anyway,
Well, we're glad you're with us tonight,
yeah,
okay?
good to be here.
So I say, but I think
Ready
that,
for this year to be over.
I think that concludes everything we have this evening, and I just want to tell the council how much I appreciate you and all that you do. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion, do I have a second?
Second?
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.